Okay, this is the recording for the question and answer series part of our presentation today. So, who has some thoughts or comments they'd like to share?
I just want to say, Ruth, it was great presentation. I'm glad I'm here because I couldn't attend your exhibition in San Francisco. So thank you so much. It was so informative, and I love your passion and your interest.
Yeah. Thank you, Salma.
I know we have been trying to meet, but anyway,
I know.
I'm meeting on virtually now.
You're like ships in the night.
But good to see you and good to hear you. Yeah.
Um, I have a couple of questions if nobody else has one. Ruth, what was the response you got from the faculty and the school for being an artist in residence? Is this a new program? Just give us a couple of thoughts about how it went, and are they continuing this program? I mean, it sounds like a very visionary and gracious concept to reach out to artists.
Yeah. I'm the fifth artist in residence. The first year was during the pandemic, and that artist was an animator, and she made an animated project. The second year was actually a friend of mine, Pentea Karimi, who looked at medicinal properties of medieval plants.
Mm.
Yeah, that's one of her things that she does.
Mhm.
Um, the third person actually lives in Florida, and he was interested in the Japanese woodblock prints and how they applied to modern problems, modern issues.
Mhm.
So he made prints in that style.
Mhm.
Last year, the artist in residence worked with the effects of glyphosate
Mhm. Mhm.
on disease. So, and she was in Minnesota, I believe. So there, it didn't necessarily need to be a local person.
Mhm.
This year's person, um, her interest is in Alzheimer's
Mhm. Mhm.
communication and communication to the public about.
Yes.
So are still open every year for applications. And I think the only limiting thing is that you need to find a topic that's addressed in the library. So you don't Google, you don't go find the latest thing. It's not a social media thing. You need to use the industry documents library. There's special collections. Um, for example, Pantea, she pretty much used the medieval manuscripts
Mm.
that she could find about these medicinal plants. Those were her references.
Mhm.
Um, but there's a wealth in the industry documents library. There's a fossil fuel collection. And also, surprisingly, a lot of the documents I needed were in the tobacco collection. So,
Oh,
yeah. So, there's various collections that you can draw from, but it they're looking to uh, they want people to make use of these resources. So it's
mhm.
not just Googling something and finding out about it and getting a quick solution. There's some pretty dry reading in there, I have
Yes.
to say, but also some pretty quick, there are a lot of news articles with op-eds and things like that, things that are pretty short. I found letters, inter-office communications,
Wow.
that are pretty revealing. So, they've collected a lot of material
Mhm.
that you can access, and there's a good search engine within that industry documents library for that. So that's a limiting thing, is that know that your topic needs to be resourced from one of those places.
Right. Primary sources. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's
Um,
another question in the chat
oh, sure.
from Maria Reyes. Maria, do you want to read your own or do you want us to read it? She's still here. Here, let me read it to you, Ruth.
Okay.
Thank you for a great presentation, Ruth. Has your experience as a physician and your work in the public health arena shaped your artwork in any way in terms of ideas for sculptures?
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm more influenced by my college work in microbiology and not necessarily what I learned in medical school, except I found the suturing really, the suturing was fascinating. But it was more from, microbiology that I started um, with the concepts.
Okay. Sharon had her hand up.
Yeah, hi, Ruth.
Sharon.
Presentation, beautiful work as always. So it's great to see what you did at the residency. I was really curious how that was going to work out, and looks like it was really fruitful for you. So I was just thinking about your work in medicine and your work with very small details and the breadth of all the subjects that you work with, which is awesome. And wondering if you've thought about microplastics and the effect of microplastics on our bodies, and if that's an interest of yours, and if you'd go in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the benefits about this residency is that I've been communicating with researchers within the medical center. And one of the people I'd been communicating with, Tracy Woodruff, recently had an article in the Washington Post about microplastics. And the latest UCSF magazine has a big article about that. It's interesting, I'm trying to figure out how I would work with that artistically, since microplastics, by their definition, aren't really something I could work with. But I feel like, there's so much there that, I could think of some, I don't know if I could think of something, but I'll work on it. And Sharon, I have to thank you for, I made my first collection of those embroidered pieces, not the ones from 2017, but the first time I showed a collection was as a result of your class. So thank you for that.
I just wanted to say one other thing you might want to look at if you go into the microplastics. My daughters were in this medical study through Kaiser that was linked to a Bronx hospital and a Cleveland hospital too, from the ages of 7 to 18. And it was looking at how microplastics and other kinds of estrogen inhibitors were affecting young women in early onset puberty, and that connection to breast cancer. So it was funded by a breast cancer fund. But anyway, I think there's probably stuff you can read about it. The study was called Cygnet, like Cygnet. Anyway, I found it really fascinating to follow the study as they were in it. And it gave me some ideas for work that I actually acted on. And I just would love to see if you go down that area, what your work would look like. Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting, because the observations of increasingly early puberty came out a while ago. They weren't necessarily attaching a reason to it, but it was an observation. So it'd be kind of interesting to kind of track that and see when those connections were made. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just add, Sharon, excellent question. And I want to shout out another student artist from the Eco Art Matters class, Taylor Monet, who, Ruth, she submitted a proposal to Bioneers last year as an artist presentation and was accepted for a project on microplastics. And the take on it was that no matter how rich you are, nobody escapes it. Just the universality of microplastics in the human body, and thinking about that is one of the few things that you can't buy your way out of.
Yeah, Yeah. One of the things I do is I give myself weekly infusions. And a few weeks ago, I was interrupted. And so I had drawn the medicine up into the syringe. Then I had to go do something else. And by the time I could get back to it, it was 6 hours later. And I go, wait a minute, this doesn't feel right. This medication has been sitting here absorbing the inside of the syringe for 6 hours. And even though I had no guideline, I threw that out because it just didn't seem right. Directly injecting into my body something like that had been in some type of syringe that wasn't meant to be a container. It was meant to be a temporary syringe.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I'm really aware of that kind of thing, especially since I use a lot of needles.
Ruth, are you in touch with the coral reef ladies from Germany?
Coral Reef, the Wertheimer sisters.
Yes.
I'm not in touch with them, but I'm well aware of them. Well aware of them. Yeah, they do a different kind of thing. They uh, they don't incorporate plastic the way I do.
Right.
Yeah, they crochet their organisms.
Well, I heard one of the sisters speak last year in New York at the College Art Association meetings, and she was saying they're giving up doing it.
Really?
She was a medical writer during her career, and writing about medical issues. And she said they can't do it anymore financially. It's too much work, but I bet they'd be fascinated and interested in seeing what you're doing.
Yeah, I thought of sending them a picture at some time, but I'm involved in so many things right now. This weekend has been enormously busy, and
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm layering. So a lot of things that really are good ideas, if they're not immediate, I don't do them.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, the whole idea of using hyperbolic crocheting
right, yes.
to
Yeah,
gather people to have awareness about coral reefs is very important and good. And
yeah.
I was thinking maybe we'll talk with you about doing something where we gather people to do it.
Oh yeah. The sisters are very into the hyperbolic crochet. They're really into that. Yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments or thoughts? Got Manoush and Catherine and Janelle and Mary. Anybody else like to make some comments?
Well, I, for one, know that I'll be sharing this talk with people after we leave today. This has been wonderful, Ruth.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And as I said, we'll send you the link and we'll put it on for our website where it should stay permanently. So thank you, everybody, for attending. And may we all go be as creative as Ruth.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank
Oh,
you.
sure.
It was
Okay,
wonderful.
Catherine.
Thanks
Thank
for coming,
you.
Ruthie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.